Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. It's Dana, and today I decided, after the short video that I posted yesterday, that I said that I didn't know if I was going to get to another Christmas tag video to finish up the Christmas tags for our gifts at Thanksgiving. I was thinking about it last night, and I thought, you know what? I went to my channel, and I realized we had only gotten to 7 different tags. And I thought if I did one more, that would only be 8. And really, my goal was to do 12. And so I obviously I'm not going to get to 12. However, I thought, what's a quick way that I could do 3 more tags so that I could at least have a set of 10 to give away. So what's an easy way to do tag is stamping. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. We're going to do these 3 little tags that are going to take us up to 10 tags. And I want to stress something, okay? You do not have to have the stamps that I've used here. My heart is never for you to spend money. I have shared before about how just what my financial situation is like as a single mom and disabled, and my heart is never that you feel like you have to go buy the things that I used in my video. You more than likely have something in your stash that will work. If you don't have Christmas stamps, you can print images online, Christmas images, things like that. If you do have Christmas stamps and you don't have what I'm using, create a tag out of the stamps you do have. So what I'm going to do is just show you what I've done on these 3 tags. We're going to do an embossed tag. See if you can see this. It looks like a stamp, but it's not. Let me catch the light there. It's actually embossed. So we're going to do that. And these 2 are just stamping and coloring. That's all it is. Okay, so we're going to start with the embossed tag because it's the most time-consuming one. And what I've done is I have prepared my tag bases. Let me use these. Okay, and it's 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. We've done this before. Cut it in half at 4 1/4. And then turn those pieces and cut them at 2 3/4. You'll get 8 tags. So these are 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. I've already stamped my to and from on the back. Okay, and let me show you the stamps that I am using. I have this beautiful set by Michael Strong, and it is called, let's see, I don't know how to pronounce this word, but it's Christmas trees. I'll put that up there so you can see it. Here is the barcode number. These are beautiful. I've had them for years, and they're just scrolled like Christmas trees. Okay, and you will need Versamark watermark stamp pad. And I'm using an emerald green embossing powder. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is put a piece of paper down, and I have my heat gun. I've had this forever. I love it. It's a Marvy heat gun. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, and I'm using the medium tree, I'm going to ink up my stamp with the Versamark. Then I'm just going to kind of make sure my tag is right side up. And I'm going to kind of eyeball center this onto my tag, but a little bit lower because I'll be angling the corners and punching the hole. So I want to make sure I have room for that. And now that it's all inked up with the Versamark, I'm just going to dump my embossing powder on it. Just like that. And I'm going to kind of shake it around and tap it off. And if I see any clumps of embossing powder, and see I missed some right here in the corner, so I'm just going to dump a little more on there so we catch all of it. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. And I have folded my paper in half ahead of time so that I can just dump the powder back in the container. Okay, and I'm going to put the lid back on my container so when I turn my heat gun off, it doesn't blow everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to turn my heat gun on. I'm not sure how loud that is, and I'm going to let it heat up a little bit. I'm going to hold this up close to the camera so you guys can see it. I want you to be able to see when that starts to melt. So I'm not right on it, just a little bit of ways from it. Let me see. I'm trying to see where if you could see where how it's melting. Okay, so you can see it. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but that powder is just melting. And once it's all good and melted, and turn that off, and then we have this beautiful embossed Christmas tree. So let's do one more, and then we'll finish up these tags. So we ink and stamp. And then we sprinkle our embossing powder. We want to make sure that our image is completely covered. And I'm done with this, so I'm going to close it up. Oh, I'm not done. I have to dump this back in. Okay, so I've shaken off all of my embossing powder. Now I'm just going to dump this back into the container. And now I'm done with this paper too. Okay, so now I'm just going to melt this. Another reason I want to hold this up is I want it to be up off my surface, my cutting mat. The heat from the heat gun will melt the mat. So you don't want to ever put direct heat onto your cutting mat. Okay. And that's what we have. Really pretty. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my angle punch, my We Are Memory Keepers angle punch, and on the large angle side, I'm just going to take these and just at the same time, I'm just going to punch my corners. And with the small hole in my Crop-A-Dile, I'm going to punch a hole. That way I can string ribbon through them. So that's what we have. And what I did with these, and I'm not gonna make you watch me do this on camera, but what I did with a silver gel pen, and this is a Uniball Signo. I love these gel pens. And this looks white, but it's actually silver. And what I did was I went around and I just did some stitching around the outside of the tag because it looks kind of plain. And I'll do that off camera, and this one is done. Okay. So I'm going to use several different stamp sets here. Let me clean off here so we have room. And I'm also going to be using my Tonic Studios stamp, what are these called? I don't know what these are called. The stamp, it's like a Misty. It's a stamp platform. There we go. So, okay, so here's our next tag. And we're going to do this one here, which is really cute. Okay. Oops, I've got embossing powder everywhere. Really cute. I've already stamped the to and from. Yes, my marker bled to the back, but I don't care. You're just going to write names there. It's really cute. Okay, So I'm using one stamp set for this one. And this one is called G's Teddy Bear Lane, and it's a May May Made It stamp set, okay? So we're gonna utilize the stamp platform here because sometimes you don't get a good impression, but I was doing multiples. I did 12 of each tag, so it just really helps to use the stamp platform. I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I'm gonna take my tag and I'm gonna put it right in the corner. And I'm gonna use this little signpost here. Really cute. And I'm gonna line it up kind of toward the bottom so it looks like it's sitting on the ground. And then, it doesn't look totally straight. Straighten that up just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm gonna close my platform and pick my stamp up. Okay, make sure my tag is back into the corner. And I'm going to stamp both of these one after the other. I'm going to ink up my stamp. Hang on one second. Somebody rang my doorbell. My dog's barking. Sorry about that. They go crazy when the doorbell rings. Okay, so we stamped down our stamp. And see how I didn't get a very good impression? It's kind of light, and this part here is kind of spotty. So this is another reason that I love the stamp platform, because I can just go back and re-ink my stamp and re-stamp it, and it'll stamp it right back in the same place. Now I got this stamp platform recently, within the last year. See, now that looks beautiful. Okay, we'll set this aside and I'll put the next one in. Ink up my stamp. I got this recently and I've been paper crafting and stamping for many years and I never wanted to invest the money, and because the Misties are not cheap, but the Tonic Studio ones are less expensive than the Misties, but I still just didn't want to, and I got a pretty good impression, but I'm going to stamp it one more time because I do see a couple little bare spots. But I found this one, and this is the small one, and I found it at Tuesday Morning for $11.99. I could not believe it. So I got it. So I'm just taking a baby wipe. I'm just going to wipe off my stamp. Okay. Now, the cool thing about this particular stamp set is it has several little, I know I'm not on camera, I'm just putting this back on my thing. It has all these little sayings here, and they all fit into this panel. Okay, so I'm going to use, because of how I'm going to color this like a candy cane, I'm going to use the one that says Candy Cane Crossing. So I'm just going to line this up. Sorry, I'm going to stick my head in here. I'm just going to line this up right in there. Pick it up. Kind of line this back up. Ink it. And stamp it down. Isn't that cute? Okay, let's do the other one. Ink or stamp. And stamp that down. Okay, really cute. Okay, let me set this aside for a minute. Let me clean my stamp. And put it back. I'm really bad about doing that sometimes, and I just hate that because I've lost stamps before. So put this one away. Put that away because we're going to need it for our next one. So here's what we have. Okay, so I'm going to trim my corners to make it a tag shape. And these are just slightly not the same size, so I want to just make sure that my corners are lined up before I punch them. And then I need to put my hole in here. Okay. All right, and I won't make you sit and watch me color them, but let me show you what I did. Okay, so here's what we have after they're stamped. And here they are colored. Now, all I did was the snow parts, that's just white gel pen. So the Uniball Signo white, I used also the Jelly Roll. You could use that too. But a white gel pen. And then with a red Copic marker, you can pick the shade of your choice, or if you don't have markers, you could use colored pencils. You could even use crayons. That would be really cute too. I just colored in the little pole here, and then I did some white stitching around the outside. Super cute. To and from on the back. So I'll do those off camera and finish those up. Okay, and that's that one. The last one, let me show you, we're going to keep out the stamp platform. Okay, and I used 2 different stamp sets for this one. Okay, this says, "We wish you a Merry Christmas." Very cute. So the first stamp set that I used this is called Tag Builder, I think. Yes, Tag Builder. Mame made it. Okay, and I have my pieces of white cardstock here, and these are pretty heavy. They're 110 pound cardstock. And I'm going to put my magnet just right on the corner because this takes up almost the whole thing. Again, it's the same size. It's 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. And I'm going to line this up. The stamp is kind of made to fit on this size piece of paper. And so I think I need to move it away from the edge a little bit so I can get it all lined up on here. Sorry if my head's in the camera. There we go. Now I'm going to line it up right here, and I'm going to put my paper, actually I'm just going to put it on the 1/2 inch mark just so I know where I need to put it when I line up the next one. So the 1/2 inch mark, I'm going to close, pick up my stamp, make sure my paper's lined up again. Again with the Onyx Black, I'm going to ink up my stamp. And I'm going to stamp this down. And you want to hold it when you're stamping, you know, don't be afraid to just hold that stamp on the surface. Let that ink transfer. Okay, so let's see how we did. Okay, and I missed some parts down here, so I'm going to get a second impression here. Making sure I press right there because that's where I missed it. There. Okay, there we go. Set that aside. Line this up on my 1/2 inch mark again. And ink my stamp. Let that ink transfer. Since I missed that one edge last time, make sure that I really go around it here. Perfect. Perfect the first time there. Okay, so let me clean my stamp. Okay. And I'm done with this stamp set, so I'm going to put my stamp back. Takes no time, guys, to just put it back where it belongs. Okay. Now, the second set that I'm using is called Ornamental Greetings. Again, it's a Mame Made It, and I'm going to use this ornament right here. The ornament shape, I'm going to use that first, and then we'll use a greeting. Okay, so I'm going to line this up kind of, actually I'm going to go ahead and put this all the way in the corner now that we're not doing that edge to edge tag. I'm going to kind of center it on the side and on the bottom, leaving this part at the top. That looks good. Okay, pick up our stamp. Okay, let's ink up our ornament. Stamp that down. Okay, perfect. Let's stamp the other one. Ink our stamp up. Now, if you do not have one of these stamp platforms, obviously you don't need it. Just eyeball it. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this for many years, and I only just got this last year, so you don't have to have a stamp platform. Okay, so there's that one. Now let's put our little greeting in. Okay, and I'm going to use, let's see, I'm going to use We Wish You a Merry Christmas. I'm going to just center that in the middle here. Where it's straight. Pick it up. And I'm going to do it in a different color. I'm going to use Distress Oxide. Just because it's the only red ink I have. If I had just a regular dye ink that was red, I would use it, but I don't. So this is what I have, so I'm going to use it. But I thought it would be pretty if the writing, just to make it more interesting, was a different color. Okay, so I'm going to ink up my stamp and stamp that down. And what I did with these is I didn't, even if I got a good impression, I did it twice because the red looks so much darker when you do it twice. See what a difference that made? I'll show you the difference. I'm going to just stamp this one once and then I'm going to hold them up together. So if you want a different darker look, you could just stamp it twice, just for that reason. So I want you to see what the difference is for stamping it once and then stamping it twice. This is once, this is twice. Totally different. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this again. There. Very pretty. Okay, oops, let me clean my stamp and take it off here. And I'm done with that. So I'll put this back on in the stamp package. Now what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to snip off the corners where the stamp was here with just a pair of scissors following the line of that outline. Okay, and then I took just a regular black pen, and what I did was I just drew a line straight down so it looks like that ornament is hanging. Just like that. And then I just chose a green. If you have Copic markers, this is G19. And I just colored in the bow because we have our red sentiment. I'm not the best colorist. So pardon me if I get out of the lines, because I probably will. In fact, I already did. here, and this part here, and then this other tail. And there we go. That was all there was to finishing that one. Now, I'm going to punch the hole here. This hole in her stamp set is the size of the small crocodile hole, so you know exactly where to punch it. And there we go. I'm just going to finish up the edging on some of these and the coloring on them. And then I'm just going to run string through them. And that's it. So I'm super happy that my brain kind of said, hey, what about stamping? Because now I have 10. I have sets of 10 of my tags now to go in my Thanksgiving envelope and my Thanksgiving bags. So what's going to happen is tomorrow I'm going to show y'all how I did my cupcake liner rosette that I'm going to decorate my bag of tags with. And then I'm going to show you how I'm going to package mine, and that'll be tomorrow's video. And this series then is done. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you played along and made some tags. But take out those Christmas stamps and play with them and just create some simple tags to kind of fill up what you're lacking. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. God bless.